Yeah,
okay, we're live.
Yeah, they're having a time wasted, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And hang on, I gotta. Hello, everybody. Slightly Slanted Sleuth, and I'm here with the guru, the one and only, the Phil Langdon. And hey, Phil, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. This is Phil from London.
Glad you could join us, Phil. I like that short, sweet. I'm trying to figure out how to get this to go back and forth again.
Okay.
I
can see my image only, and you're in the corner, the bottom corner.
Yep.
I guess that's what's going on.
Oh, I see what I got to do. I got to go like this, and then I got to go like this. But yeah, everybody, thanks for joining us today, and hopefully we can get more information out than we have been in the past, so we're not wasting any time. But Phil has been, what's going on now?
I got you on the screen now. That works for me. Okay. Same, you're on screen. I'm in the corner. That's cool.
Okay. All right. But yeah, my live stream last night, most of the people in chat are familiar with what we were doing last night. You know, we were talking about Axion. Or is that what it's called?
Aeon.
Aeon, yeah.
I think it's Aeon.
Yeah, the lion-headed cosmic time god, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you explain what that is? And I'm going to try to pull it up. I don't think I can pull it up here, but I'm going to try to pull the image up.
I've got it on my computer, and I did a write-up on it today.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you can take control of the screen or whatever. Do you know how to do that?
No. Can you see my screen now?
No, not right now. You got to go up to screen share. It's up in the upper left-hand corner. That green arrow.
Ah, okay.
Yep,
screen share.
Yep, click that, and then you can share it.
Okay. Okay, I've clicked it, but nothing's happening yet. Do I have to wait? Is there a delay?
Well, there may be, but you go up there, and then it'll have another screen pop up in front of you, and it'll show you.
Right, that hasn't happened yet.
Yes, yeah, it popped up for me.
Ah, did you get it?
Well, I could share it, but it should pop up for you. The green, you see the green arrow up there, right?
Yeah, it's a white arrow and a green rectangle.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pressing it. Nothing's happening.
Okay.
Often the case with my computer, unfortunately. I don't know why these things don't work.
It's because we got something. It's because we have something good to tell, I think. But yeah, might as well start off with a simple question. One of the viewers asked, does the elite have a means of circumventing the ascension process?
No, nobody can stop. Nobody can stop you ascending. Sorry, go on, dude.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was just going to say, nobody can stop you because no one's going to know you're engaged in that procedure within yourself. You know, they don't know. All they can do is distract you. Nothing else. That's it.
The question, I think, was, though, do they have a means of circumventing the cycle as far as them doing it? You know, like, are they trying to circumvent it? Like, I think the viewer meant, is CERN that circumvention or the means around it? And maybe the chemtrails, do you know anything? Oh, I think I asked you this before. The chemtrails blocking the information, you know, and all that.
Yeah. No, they can't stop the ascension process in general. I mean, to be honest, I don't think they're that interested in it themselves. I get the impression from my own research into them that they're very physically orientated, and they just expect nobody to be able to achieve ascension or illumination. You know, they literally think you can't achieve it. And I seem to be the first person who's got there, as far as I know. You know, I don't know everybody on planet Earth, so I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I can't tell you, but you will hear about them if somebody makes it. You'll start seeing the cloud. They will show you the cloud, without a doubt. That's what they talk about. That's what I talk about on purpose because it's amazing. You know. So
That's
as far as I know, I'm the only one, and that tells me that there's an expectation that nobody will make it. So they don't even bother with it. You don't even think about it. They just want to maintain a system that feeds them money. That's basically it. You know.
which is a shame, and it's kind of disheartening. But yeah, the fact
Right,
of
but
go ahead.
no, sorry, dude. Carry on. No, carry on.
No, go ahead.
Well, the only point I was going to make was that if they can't stop you, you don't need to let that get to you. You know, there's always going to be people who are throwing their egos around in the world. It shouldn't affect you. You can ignore that and just carry on with your own thing. You know, as best you
Yep.
can, as best you can. Obviously, you know, not everyone's rich, but you don't. I've never had any money, and I made it. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
I've never had any money ever. I've never been wealthy, or I've never even had a decent amount of money ever, and yet I got there. You know, so it's all about developing this, really.
Yes, and it's all about just molding your thought around the concept of everything, right? I mean, and you got to do that in stages, of course.
It's about delving into understanding reality. That's what it's about. It's about understanding reality, so you can. The point of understanding reality is that it has an effect on you, and it changes you from the person you were when you were born, who is selfish, to someone who's selfless or more selfless the older you get. So it's about your transformation, recognizing the reality, the true reality that exists, that we are all part of one being, and that there is something called God. You know, there is heaven. Hell, we're already in hell. This is hell that we're in.
Hmm.
Hell is just a physical manifestation that is indifferent and it doesn't care about you. So it's hellish. So you get the impression it hates you, but it doesn't. It's just there. It's a teaching tool, a learning tool for you. So you don't need books and stuff. All you have to do is go out into nature and study nature. You can learn all about the galaxy by looking at a tree.
Right.
Yeah, a
That's
simple
that's
tree.
beautiful. That's beautiful. Or a plant.
Yeah, yeah, a plant. It will teach you about the cycle that is apparent throughout the cosmos, from the smallest to the largest. It will teach you all of it in one go, right there in front of you on the ground. A little flower. That's how simple it is. See, when you get it, you realize it's so simple. But there's so many distractions in the world. You think you have to become really complicated, you know,
Yep.
in your analysis of. You don't. It's the simplicity of reality that helps you. Yeah.
So if it's so simple, but the thing that's the simplest in life is the hardest to explain to anybody when you get down to the brass tacks of it all, right?
Right. I mean, to be honest, I didn't know about the galactic cycle before I made it to Illumination. You know, I found out after, and but I didn't realize that I could apply that cyclic growth cycle to the galaxy as well until after. But I had that in my mind from studying the Meru Foundation and the proper explanation of what is in Kabbalah. When you
I just
understand,
I just
yeah.
had somebody else send me that the Muro Foundation paper, just like the one that you gave me. And it was
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Studying the
That,
Kabbalah. Finish your
Yeah,
thought.
the Kabbalah. Yeah, check out Kabbalah. If it's too much for you, then go and read the Bhagavad Gita, because it's a lot more sweet and normal to read. Because Kabbalah is very, very deep. You'll be there for a long time going through it, you know, and you'll think, what is this stuff? It's so weird. I read it when I was 22 first time, and I got the core of it, but a lot of it was lost to me then. I didn't really understand how they know all these things. Where'd they get the information from? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's our biggest
You know,
obstacle. Like people right now that are viewing this at this very moment that are skeptical, they're thinking, "Well, who is
yeah.
this guy? You know, he's just some bloke in London. Who is he? You know?"
Yeah, yeah. I am literally a nobody. Yeah, but I think that works in my favor in a way because I'm no one in particular, because it proves that anyone can do this. You see,
Yes.
yeah, that's what it means. That's really important, I think, for people, regular people, to realize that it's there for them as well. You know, it's not something beyond you.
And anybody that can discern the truth just by feeling or sensing the truth, or if somebody's deceiving you, in my opinion, I could do that very well. And I'm not putting myself on a pedestal, but there's
Mm.
not been one time where I thought you have lied to me. you know,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
I think that is a big thing in our world, that nobody can trust anybody, is what how they see it, you know, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the big thing, you know. That's people are
Yeah.
is in the. Go ahead.
Sorry, carry on. Carry on.
No, go ahead. You're good. I was
Oh,
done.
oh,
I was done.
I was just going to say and add that a lot of people seem to think they know what's what. Yeah, I've watched many people who are at the top, apparently at the top of their game on YouTube. You know, maybe someone like I don't want to name names actually. Someone
I
who's
know.
into someone who's into ancient Babylon or ancient Egypt. You know, how much of this stuff do they really understand? You know,
Well,
if you don't
I
know
know
that,
now. I know now exactly what you're talking about, because
mm,
I used to follow them type of people, and I think I know exactly the one you're talking about,
they,
just by what you said right there. You know,
they,
and
they can be useful. You know, you
right.
can get information from most people anyway, but how deep does it go and how deep is their understanding? Yeah.
You know, a while back I had somebody come to me in chat, and
Mm.
they put the number 333 down,
Hmm.
and I responded. I just came across it, and every time I see that number, I'll say 333 is me. Well,
Hmm.
that particular person said that's the answer I was looking for. And I went back and looked for that comment. Was that you?
No, that wasn't me.
But one other time, I had another guy come to me and tell me that the emerald tablets were magic, you know, and it was about magic. Well, it is in a way,
Yeah.
because you know that mighty spirit of light prayer that I say all the time.
Hmm.
That prayer is exactly what the ascension process is, right?
Right. Right. How long is that prayer?
It's not long at all. It's two paragraphs, and it explains the whole process.
Right. You talking about from the Hermetic tablets as well?
From the, I think it's not from the original tablet. It's the one Doriel translated, that he said he found the tablets in the under a pyramid in, what was it, Machu Picchu, I think, or
Oh, I
Teotihuacan.
remember you saying. I remember you saying that before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I did.
that's a big obstacle for people as well, because you know they say Doriel was a fraud because everything's debunked on the internet, you know.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. Yeah. Even good stuff is apparently debunked.
Yep.
Like there's a Christian. I find this very amusing that a Christian would debunk ancient aliens. That is bizarre because he's basically pretending to himself that he knows all about the Bible and Christianity because he's a Christian. So that he must know about it because he's a Christian, but he hasn't got a clue what's in the Bible. And then he's debunking something he knows nothing about. I find that very weird that people have this sense of themselves where they think they know what they're doing. That is bizarre. I find that bizarre.
That comes from, don't you think that comes from attaching emotion to a belief, and holding on to it, because it's our tendency to dig our heels in when somebody
Yeah.
comes at us with something profound, or you know.
That's right. That is true. Yeah, people seem to feel they have to cling on to something, otherwise they'll be lost in a void of unknowing. You know, there's a sense in the world that you have to know what you're doing and know what you're talking about to be taken seriously as a human being. You know, so people will invent answers to fill out the gaps in their knowledge to when other people ask them, without being honest about it and saying, look, I don't actually know about that particular detail. Oh, but I thought you were the expert. Yeah, I am, but I don't know, you know, this and that. We think, well, there's no point in listening to you then, is there? Then they lose their audience.
Yeah, right. And I think that's like Denzel Washington said, famous quote I heard him say was, you folks, he was talking to the media, of course. He said, you folks are more worried about being first, and you know, without regard of whether or not it's true and who you're hurting.
Hmm.
Before, you know, you should be worried about what's true, you know, and they aren't.
Yeah,
And that's what the
I agree.
mainstream media is corrupt with. And I've noticed it's leaked over into the alternative media, even YouTube now, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it's rife. It's everywhere.
And,
It's everywhere.
and
Yeah,
what's true isn't popular, and what's
that's
popular
right.
isn't true.
That's right. That's
Yes.
correct. That is
Okay,
correct.
now if a Christian viewer is viewing this right now, and what kind of lens can you, or perspective could you give them? You know, how should they look at the Bible? I mean, what is the simplest way you could say? You know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I do. I know exactly what you mean. The simplest way to understand the Bible is that there's a single thread running through all the books of the Bible, which is why those books are together in one collection. And the thread running through it is the light of illumination. Period. That's it. That's what it's about. That's what the Bible is all about. The light, the Son of God, is the subject of the Bible.
And the Son of God
That's
is
it.
the Son of God is literally the light.
Yes, it's the pineal light. Yeah, because that's the product of your union with your true self, who is God. Yeah, infinity. God is infinity. Your infinite, ineffable self. When you meet that, you produce this light in yourself. It's the most perfect thing.
Hello? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
And it can be made
Phil.
out of anything. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
here. I'm here.
Sorry about that. You froze up.
That's right. My computer's not overheating. So, yeah, I don't know why. My computer's fine.
It's because we
Okay.
were telling the truth, I think. It happens, man. I'm telling
Probably.
you, it happens.
Yeah,
Like
probably.
that night you were talking to Paula when she said, when you guys were talking about the black hole sun, and
Yeah.
oddly enough, that was how I got turned on to all this. Because I was looking for everything on the outside. Where am I going? Where can I go?
Mm-hmm.
And it's all here,
Mm-hmm.
which is the weirdest, or not weirdest, but the most awesome, revelation I've ever had. Is it's all found within your mind, and you just got to figure out how to train your mind and get them steps right. I mean, is that
Yeah. The impetus for your mind comes from outside of you. Yeah, the fixed world outside of you that shows you that there is a truth, because the tree outside your house is not going to turn into a rabbit overnight. For instance, it's fixed. It is a tree. There's a reason it's a tree. So all you have to do is ask yourself, well, how come that's a tree? How come there's an animal next to it? What's the difference between a tree and an animal? And you start realizing there are these kingdoms, these things called kingdoms, which turns out to be a development process, a cycle that goes from a very simple form to something very complex that starts it in the first place. And then you realize the loop, the cycle. Yeah, it goes with a tree and a seed. Seed grows the tree that regrows the seed. Same in
yep.
the galaxy. Same, exactly the same.
Yeah, and I've noticed that's what I've started seeing, and it's like I turned into Rain Man, and it's like the I'm serious. Like if I drop some, I mean everything. And I always refer to a fork. I don't know why I do that, but I always do. I look at a fork and I say, well, that thing was thought of, it was made, and it was disposed of.
Mm-hmm,
That's
mm-hmm.
essentially the same thing as the plant, the tree. Not in a biological sense, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I
There's
know
a hero's
exactly what you
journey in
mean.
everything, and
That's right. That's right. There has been some kind of intelligence behind what is generated. Yeah,
And I
it's the
watched
greatest.
that Stan Tenen. You recommended him, right, Stan Tenen,
Yeah,
about the way how letters were created, and they were actually that was wild. Why don't you explain that a little bit to me?
yeah. The Mary Foundation was started by this guy Stan Tenen, who is he grew up as a Jew. I'm not Jewish, I have nothing against or for Jews in particular, but he grew up and he went to Hebrew school, and he didn't quite grasp why he was being told one thing about Kabbalah, but he saw that there was a pattern to be recognized in it. And when he discovered it, it took him 10 years to figure it out. When he discovered it, he realized that all the Hebrew letters are really just shadows of the same object. And that object is the definition of the unification of unity and wholeness. It's a minimal surface.
You see this? You see this, you guys? This is ridiculous. Phil, you there? Can you guys hear me? It's just ridiculous. It is. It's but he was getting at you cut out here, bud. It's, you see this? Wow. I'm going to try to send him a link again, you guys, and see if he comes back. But this is just ridiculous. Sorry. Please bear with me. You know, you see the obstacles in the technology that we have in front of us. I mean, it's if we were talking about death, sex, porno, if we were talking about all that stuff, you know dang well, that none of this would be happening. But yeah, the fact of the matter is that we're fighting an uphill battle here. And anytime you talk about anything that's pertaining to God or enlightenment or betterment of bucking the system, getting rid of the hate, getting rid of the division, it's fine if we're divided, guys, because division is what creation is created from. That's what the separation of the waters in the Genesis story is about. It's about polarization of the chaoticness, and that's fine. We can be polarized, but we have. There he's back. You there, Phil? Hello? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Good, good.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. It's freezing all the time.
You know what it is? Don't move your hands in front of the camera. In front of your camera, because
Really?
I think on your end is your Wi-Fi is you know, slacking or something. I don't know, but it was every time you moved your hands and talked at the same time.
Okay, I'll try and keep them still. Yeah, I'm a hand waver.
Hey, but your hands communicate very well, because that's exactly what we were just talking about, right? Is how he realized that it's the shadow and it's the same shape as. So that where we were at before you got cut off was the shadow of the very same thing.
Yeah, it's a shadow of a model of unity and wholeness that looks like a torus or an apple. What you have there is a direct link between the very center and the outermost part. They're directly linked. It's exactly like the principle of the cosmos. Yeah. So yeah. It shows you the cycle that you can apply throughout everything in the cosmos at every level, at every scale, including the galaxy, including the cosmos as a whole, which apparently cascades, but that's another issue. It also conforms, the minimal surface they use to create the letters conforms to the shape of the human hand as well. Yeah, because everything in creation is made by the same cycle, so you'll find the same issues throughout.
Meaning that it's your hands that project your thought into the reality.
Yeah, well, they are the things that turn your thoughts into physical action, because you can hold a hammer and a nail, you know, and actually put something together and build something with your hands. Yeah.
Just like the algorithm in a computer, and just like the allegory in the Bible.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I suppose you could say that. Yeah.
Turn software into hardware, or use the software turns into action, you know, via the hardware, right? I mean, it's the same thing, same concept.
Basically, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I just put that together, so I'm patting myself on the back there. But anyway, but here's that prayer: Mighty Spirit of light that shines through the cosmos, draw my flame closer in harmony to thee. Lift up my fire from out of the darkness, magnet of fire that is one with the all. That's the first half, and then the second half is lift up my soul, thou mighty and potent, child of the light, turn not away. Draw me in power to melt in thy furnace, one with all things and all things in one. Fire of the life strain and one with the brain.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much the whole ascension process right there in a nutshell, right?
It is. Yep.
Yeah, but I've read that 400,000 times, and I never even got it until I made that connection, like that whole cycle thing, you know, and it applies to everything from the biggest to the smallest.
Yeah, it's all a multitude of ideas from one source. Yeah.
In your opinion, or what you know, so are we like nerve endings for the all, so the all can experience and bring back information to itself, or what? It's just I mean, what is it? What is God? You know what I mean? Can you answer that question, or is it unanswerable?
No, you. Of course, you can't tell someone about the ineffable, infinite, um, in personal terms, because they need to experience it to know what you're talking about. That's all. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I know
Without,
exactly what you mean.
yeah. So,
Go ahead.
so if they don't have the experience, they might not relate to what you're saying about it. But they can certainly wrap their head around the concept of infinity, something that never ends. And you can deal with it in these basic terms. And I can say that what we are doing is generating heaven, or the perfection of what we call God ourselves, because we are that entity. Our source is ineffable, therefore there's no definition. So we come into the automatic manifestation to establish definition of the same ineffable truth. So you're
Oh,
going from, yeah, so you're going from the infinite expanse concept to the focused, poignant, singular nature, singularity concept. Both of them are singular. So you're completing the entirety of your existence by coming into physical life and finding heaven from physical life, because you can't find it anywhere else.
wow. That answers my next step in my personal journey. Actually, that's why I asked you that, was because
Yeah,
that's where I was stuck. Was right there.
right.
Like, you know, who is it, and why is it, and and
Yeah,
people like to attach a physical human description to God. Is that in essence is right, as well, I suppose, right?
in a way you can, even though the idea of God is that it's not a human. But meeting the infinite, it was like meeting a person who has their own persona, their own not characteristics, in that they have a specific characteristic that you might not associate with God. It's the most perfect person I've ever encountered in my whole life, put it that way. And I refer to God as a person, in the sense that you can relate directly to this spirit. It's a spirit, and you can relate directly to him, because that is your true self. So there's nothing alien about it to you. It is like a person. Yeah, but
Okay,
it's
so
infinite.
you say it's a personal journey, but how do you know what to tell me at this precise moment when I need to know it?
I don't really. I mean, I get prompts from what you're saying. I can see maybe your thought process, and that automatically tells me roughly where you might be in your understanding. Because I've been through the whole process myself, I can tell where someone is in that process, roughly. Yeah,
And those processes, are those the steps? I mean, are they pretty rigid in your opinion? I mean, you only know your journey, I'm sure, but I mean,
yeah, yeah.
it,
Okay. So the great work, as it's called, is epitomized by the concept of building a pyramid. A pyramid represents the great work itself, which is what we do to ourselves. And all you're doing there is gathering clay, which we would refer to as information from the world around you. You put it together, you make comparisons between different pieces of information to gain understanding of what they are telling you, the truth behind them. And as you do this, you gain little truths here and there, and all you have to do is collect them together and add them together. You end up putting bricks together to make a pyramid that's automatically reaching to a singular point at the top. That's the principle of gathering, learning truths from your experiences, that you contemplate, and go deeper and deeper into understanding the nature of reality that you're in. It really is an examination of the reality we find
oh God, here we go.
ourselves in, to learn from.
You there?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Can you hear me?
repeat what you said. It's a reality. That's where you got cut off.
Oh, I can't remember exactly where I was in the sentence now.
Okay, that's all good. That's all good. I think you were pretty much done with your.
Explanation there. I can't hear you now, Steve. You've gone all slow motion.
How about now?
Now I can hear you. Now I can hear
Good,
you.
good. Sorry about
Okay.
that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
cool.
maybe if I go to a slideshow or something, it won't do that. But I mean,
I
so
don't know
yeah,
why.
my next question would be that kind of the technology thing is just it's a thorn in my side today. I don't know why. I apologize for that, everybody,
That's right.
because
Yeah.
this is the biggest information I've ever come across. I mean, I've been down the film in the sky road, you know. And did you watch that Sunrunner offshoot video I sent you, Phil?
Yeah. 47 seconds. The video,
Yep,
that short one. What
yep.
was in there? Because I didn't know what was going on there. There was a bird flying with the sun in the sky.
It wasn't a bird at first. It starts out from the beginning of the video. It starts out as a something that shines bright, you know,
Right.
because
Yeah.
you see the lens flare, you know, the big orb or whatever. But it's I think it's a I don't know, a light being of some sort. It's the
Oh,
only
I
real
see.
thing I got on film for 3 years of film in the sky. You know,
Right.
I've got chemtrail after chemtrail planes and all that, you know, and
Yeah.
maybe some aliens or UFOs or whatever, but that
Uh-huh.
is the only thing that I can truly get behind and say is you know, really real, you
I
know.
see. I see. Now I got you. Yeah, I see what you mean. I missed a couple of opportunities myself to film something that flew over my house about 3 months ago, twice. It was a red orb. It wasn't a drone or anything. It was a red orb with a single white light on the front, and it reacted to my thoughts. Obviously, so as well. It was reacting. It knew what I was thinking somehow. I don't know how they do that, but it knew what I was thinking because it,
Wow,
it did what I was thinking. Yeah. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning, so nobody else was looking. So I can't correlate it with anybody else, but it did exactly what I asked it to do in my head.
that's crazy. That's crazy. That's awesome,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll show it right here after I'm gonna share my screen after I get the video up just so I can show everybody and what we're talking about.
Right.
Oh, I think somebody's on my Wi-Fi, and I hope they're not.
Oh.
But
Right.
here we go. Here we go. I'll share it. I'm fetching it right now. But if another thing, so if people are skeptical, and I mean, what we can tell them is, has anything worked so far? I mean, our world's in turmoil. You know, what bit of advice on that side of things could you give people that are kind of stuck in the them and us mentality? You know, polarization is what creation's made out of, but you know, how
Yeah.
could you steer people back to the center?
By telling them that a lot of things in the world are distractions. Anything that keeps you away from what we call the great work, which is working on yourself, fixing yourself, understanding your own self as a physical being, and understanding the reality that you're in. That's the great work. Anything that distracts you from that is a waste of your time. It doesn't mean you don't have to. You shouldn't spend any time doing anything other than the great work, because there's normal life to live, and you can look at anything you like. It's up to you. But the more time you spend on the great work, the quicker you'll get there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and that's pretty much what I've been trying to tell. You know, and it has distracted out of my life. It's taken, you know, a lot of time out of my life with my family, and that's, if I ever had a regret, that would be the regret I had. You know,
Mm-hmm.
is that exactly that? You know, but I mean, I find my family just as important to me as this. You know, and
Yeah.
that's another struggle I struggle with.
Yeah.
So.
Sure.
Do you
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
I got the wrong screen up here. I gotta get better with this. Okay, am I in the right? Yeah, there we go. All right,
Yeah.
now check this out. Okay, I'm gonna rewind it here. Hey, you see that right there?
Mm-hmm.
Right here. Well, it turns. See, it turns into. I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. Darn it! Wrong button. I get all nervous and discombobulated. I do. I still do. After all these live streams I've done, I still get nervous about it. I don't know why, but I do.
Mm.
But I think that's human. I don't know.
Hmm.
Is fear the biggest factor that can hold a soul back from the great work? I mean, is
No.
being scared of the dogma that has been laid before us by people that don't know what they're talking about and stuff like
I,
that?
yeah, I spent most of my early life in a state of fear myself. You know, I was absolutely petrified of the fact that nobody seemed to know the ultimate nature of reality, and I always thought that was a starting point for beings to know that, and then they can have a proper life, as it were. But what really scared me was that people didn't know what they were talking about, and yet they were full of opinion and arrogance. That's what scared me when I was young, because I've become a victim sometimes of other people's arrogance. I didn't like that. So I've been scared most of my life. So don't worry about it. It's not going to stop you from doing the great work. It didn't stop me.
Okay, I'm going to be brutally honest right now. I thought, right now, another reason why I'm stuck in my process is that I think,
Mm.
I think to myself, do I want to be uh, sucked back into the furnace? And is that what I want? You understand what I'm getting at there? No. That question I asked
Um,
you, are we food for the next cycle?
I missed what you said there, Steve. You just shut off for a second, for about 5 seconds. So I missed your sentence.
Oh, I was asking, are we food for the next cycle?
What do you mean the next cycle? The cycle of what?
The next cycle in the cycles of all the cycles.
No,
You know
we're
what I'm saying?
nobody's food. No, yeah, I kind of get what you're saying, but we're nobody's food. We are not food.
No, I don't mean it like that. I mean, are we energy for the next cycle? Are we fuel for the next cycle, for the next sun cycle, for the next solar cycle, for the next ascension cycle?
No, we have nothing to do with that. The entire physical cosmos is only there as a learning tool. That's all.
So the ascension, when we make this connection with the pineal light,
Hmm.
in your opinion, what happens?
Right. What happens is when you understand the unification of complete opposites that you spend your whole life considering them as complete opposites and separate. When you understand their unification and how they are the same thing in two opposite states, then you define one thing only to yourself. You find the definition, and what happens is your let's say your spirit presence in you as spirit in the body inverts itself and is released and goes immediately to infinity in all directions. That experience is the massive expansion you experience. That is your entry into the underworld. Yeah.
And the underworld is actually
It's right. So, the underworld is mind space that was captured in your head for the most of your life. When it's released, it becomes one with outer space. So outer space becomes your underworld. Everything physical is gone. You can't see anything physical anymore because you've left your body. Your eyes don't work anymore, but you can see the underworld. You can see the let's say the spiritual nature of what you've come into in that moment. So you can see the light behind you when you turn around because it has a spiritual nature as well. It's from spiritual union, that light. Yeah.
yeah. Did you
Uh,
hear our voices over ourselves in the background? Slow motion.
no, no, I didn't.
Wow, that was weird. That was really weird, man. Okay, now
Oh,
the timelessness and time and dimensionless and dimensions. That is exactly what you were just talking about. The square in the squaring in the circle, right? Or the circle in the
yeah,
square, right?
yeah. They are exact opposites. Yeah. Always look at opposites and see how they unify together. Realize that there's a different state. That's all. So timelessness contains all things at once. But in time, you'll have all things at once. Sorry, you'll have all things spread out bit by bit. They are one and the
Beautiful.
same, though.
That's where I stopped because I did make a huge step when I kept I mean, as you were witness to exactly what I'm talking about when I made the connection that Pluto and Earth are two, you know, heaven and Earth, right? And how did I come to that conclusion before I came to?
I just
So when I was making those, sorry, when I was making those connections, it seemed to build on itself. And is that normal? Was that normal for you as well? When you started doing those thought exercises in your head about comparing opposites? I can't hear you now, bud. Jesus, this is just sick. Phil, I can't hear you, bud. Can anybody else hear him? Can you guys hear him at all? You can hear me though? Jesus, this is just retarded. I kicked him off. I hope you don't get mad. I'm gonna get him back on though. This guy's beautiful though. I mean, he came to us for a reason, folks, and I feel like he came to us in a divine way of sorts, and came through the channels. You guys can hear me, good. He came through channels that I can't explain, and it's like he said, he's the only one that I've come across that I feel is telling me the truth when it comes to this ascension process and whatnot. Yeah, you can't hear him because he's not here yet. I'm trying to invite him back. I think he's working on his computer or something. And this is the battle we face when we're dealing with the technology, you know, because who has the control over the technology? The ones that don't want the information out. And I didn't think he had that very same opinion about the negative force that's against the positive, but there always is, right? Now that positive that we're facing is or that we have has to start outweighing in our own minds because like he said, I believe it starts individually. You know, it's just like a flower, how it'll start with the seed, then it'll grow to a stem, then it'll grow to a couple leaves, then it'll grow to a flower, and that's essentially what we are. We are we are flowers of light in the Garden of Eden, and the only way we can uh, uh, beat the negative forces, which is the night, which oddly enough, flowers can't grow at night. You know, we're going to have to work on ourselves individually because that's where it starts. It doesn't start with you not being able to explain. Because I try to explain what he's explaining, but I can't do it as eloquently as him because I haven't been there. And from what he says, it once you are there, it comes to you in droves. There's no stopping the information, you know. And he'll be back here. Just we'll give him a few more minutes. And anybody got any questions that maybe I can answer? And I'm smoking on screen. Ronnie G, yes, but AI is unaware. You can't change anyone except for yourself, right? But if it wasn't for Phil, I would not be putting all of this stuff together. And I don't know what Phil saw in me, but he obviously, you know, noticed in me that I'm ready to learn, and I'm so grateful that he came my way. Said I'm not allowed to join video call. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I ejected him, so oh no. Oh no. Darn it. So how would I do it? Oh man, that sucks. Says I don't get the system. What? Oh. 1 second, guys. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. I'm sorry. It figures. It figures. It figures. I'm working on it. We got to hang this one up here, Phil. Right. I'm here, but we got to hang up. We have to hang up this call, bud. There we go. Jeez, this just sucks. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys. Just bear with me. I'm working on it. But Phil is he's awesome for. Well, it just hung up and started up again. Here, I'm gonna send this back to him. Hey, if I stop this broadcast, guys, I'll be right back on, okay? Because if we can't work it out, I'm gonna have to restart it. And I believe it's worth restarting. And you guys just come right back to my channel when I start the broadcast up, okay? Because if it doesn't work, he says in their conversation here on the phone, he says maybe there is an attempt to block this. I'm guessing, but there should be no problem. So I'm gonna stop this broadcast, guys. Come right back, okay?